Hey, y'all, hey, this is Dr. Samir Copeland. It's a sad day, and I'm gonna tell you why. George Foreman passed away. And I know that some of y'all are like, maybe you're not a boxing connoisseur. I'm technically not, but I read about his testimony earlier last year. There was actually a movie out called Foreman on Netflix. I definitely recommend. But I loved his testimony of how he came to Christ. The fun fact about George Foreman is that for those who don't know, he had a kind of rough background. And when he first started his boxing career, he ended up, and this is the testimony that God can radically transform your life regardless of what you go through. And so may George Foreman, he went from rest to award. But I was so inspired by his story. So anyway, he started to become very successful, as you all know, as a heavyweight boxer in the entire world. He ends up making a good amount of money, but he had a business partner, and the business partner was shady. And so after George Foreman was radically saved, he became a pastor. He opened up, just started doing a lot of great things in the community, and he opened up a community center. Hold on, let me make sure I got my time together. Okay, he opened up a community center and was helping the kids, lower income, underprivileged kids, to make better choices with their life. One day he goes to his community center and the lights can't turn on. He thought, okay, it was just a little glitch. He ends up going to the bank and realized this man had made over millions and millions and millions of dollars. He only had about less than $1,000 in his bank account. And so that's a problem, right? He had children that were going to go to college. He had a church that he was running, and he also had a community center that he was trying to, I guess, maintain. He had $10 million. All of it was gone. He said, what in the world? And he said, and I quote, I realized that I had made good business decisions, but I trusted the wrong people. So George Foreman in his 40s ended up going back into the boxing world. After he went back into the boxing world in his 40s, they kept joking he's an overweight boxer, but God gave him a prophetic dream, and he ended up becoming the oldest at that time heavyweight champion of the entire world. Won't God do it? In the meantime, while he was trying to make money and make business deals to recuperate the money that he lost, he ended up signing with a small organization about these grills. And he jokingly said, overweight man going to sell some grills to help you lose weight. Well, God knows how to make what you do grow, right? And so he ended up signing this contract. I think it was like a 70-30 split. I can't remember the exact. Anyway, the company ended up being so successful. George was getting about $10 million a month, y'all. A month. The company wasn't making any money because they were manufacturing everything related to this grill. We know it now as a George Foreman grill. So they sat down with George and they said, George, we got to renegotiate the contract. He being a very nice man, nicer than I would ever be. I'd have been like, y'all got to pray on it because y'all going to give me my money. But George Foreman was a man of integrity. So he sat down with him. He ended up at the negotiating table. And at one point, at one day, they cut George Foreman a check for $147 million. Talk about recoupment. The man who had underprivileged life ended up having to go back into boxing, which he didn't want to go at a late age, ended up making money in boxing, but God radically changed and increased his life. And I want to tell someone, George Foreman's life is a miracle within itself. It wasn't the money, but he teaches us that the first half of your life does not define your life. And that even if you think you lost it all, God will cause you to recover it. So the contract that George Foreman, the second contract with the company, George Foreman Grill, it was that for his entire lifetime, they bought him out of his contract, but he could never promote another George Foreman grill ever in life or in death. And he walked away with $147 million in one day. That'll preach right there, right? Hey, in one day, yeah. You will recover it all. Anyway, it just made me sad because I was watching that boxing movie. Like I said, y'all can if you can find it, go ahead and watch. I was watching that movie and it was so inspiring. And even though obviously in the 70s he had a full life, his testimony was really inspirational. So may my condolences to George Foreman and his family, and thank you for such an awesome testimony of how God can radically change and transform your life for him. Remember, y'all, it doesn't matter what it looks like now. His testimony is God did it. Love you much. Bye. Rest in peace, George Foreman.